1997 is when Chris and Lindsay met. They were young, in love. They were in the honeymoon phase, as we know it. 1999, Chris and Lindsay find out they're expecting. This is great news, as they're still very much in love. 2000, the baby was born. They now have what they could consider the perfect family. 2 loving parents, dual income, and someone to watch the baby while they're at work. 2001, Lindsay loses her job. She starts coming home late and having irrational outbursts towards Chris. Things are tough. Chris and Lindsay are no longer very much in love. All of a sudden, they don't have the perfect family. 2002, Chris takes Lindsay to court regarding childhood neglect and is granted full custody of the child. That child is me. And this is the first lesson my dad taught me throughout my life so far. Defend. Defend what you love and what you believe in, because you should not rely on anyone else but yourself. I was a vulnerable little girl. I didn't know anything that was going on in my life at this point. And my dad, he wanted it to stay that way. He wanted to protect me from what could have been worse, a life with my mom. After the court custody battle, it is now 2003. My dad goes back to school. He went to BCIT and did a trades program. He became an HVAC technician because he knew he had to get a better paying job in order to support both himself and me. He put his whole life on hold just for me. After putting himself through this program, 4 years later, he was finally a Red Seal journeyman. He could now find a higher paying job, good benefits, and steady work hours. This is the second lesson my dad taught me throughout my life so far. Perseverance. Perseverance means doing something despite it being difficult or the difficulty it may bring. He knew it wasn't going to be easy being a single father with a single income, but he also knew he had to do it to give me the best life I could possibly have. So, after my mom started doing a little bit better through around 2005 to 2010, my dad would take me to meet with my mom once a month. They would meet halfway between here, Coquitlam, and 100 Mile House, which is where my mom now lives. And you're probably wondering, why would he do that after everything she did to him and me? Well, after all, she is my mom. And my dad wanted me to have that experience with both parents. So he found forgiveness in his heart so he could make this happen for me. This is the third lesson my dad taught me throughout my life so far. Compassion. Compassion is showing sympathy for the misfortunes or sufferings of others. And this is something my dad continues to show me in my everyday life. Now, after 2010, I started to be old enough to express that I did not enjoy going to see my mom. I would get anxious and sick, as you guys know from my previous speech, every time I would visit her because I was uncomfortable. This is when my dad allowed me to finally make my own choice. He realized I was old enough to understand what was going on and make my own decision, and he respected that. This is the fourth lesson my dad taught me throughout my life. Autonomy. Autonomy is where you act in accordance with your own self rather than following others. Throughout my life and to this day, I am not one who succumbs to peer pressure. I follow what my body tells me is right, And I believe it's a great strength of mine. And it's all thanks to my dad teaching me from such a young age that you don't have to do things you're uncomfortable with doing. Now, throughout my life, my dad continues to teach me lessons every single day, and I could go on and on. I could probably write a book about it. But here I am now, the only person in my immediate family that comes from a broken home, the first person in my immediate family to have their own business, and about to be the first person in my immediate family to graduate with a bachelor's degree. So what I really want you to take away today is that your past does not define you. Rather, it teaches you valuable lessons along the way, and it just depends how you absorb these lessons. I was able to take these experiences and turn them into learning points that have helped pave the way for a successful future. And it's all thanks to my hero, my role model, my dad. Thank you.